Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon to you all. Welcome to our webinar where we're going to talk to you today about SeaBuddy, which is our exciting new initiative. So thank you for waiting a few moments there. We've had some slight technical glitches this morning, but hopefully you could hear me okay. Okay, so just by way of introductions, we've got myself. So I head up VBox, and I've been looking after this from the beginning. And then from the top, we've got Sue Terpinowski. She is hoping to join us, but has been having some technical issues. She's from ImageLine, and we also have Man Mahan, who's from RightShip, who'll be helping me today with the presentation. So Sue and Man, SeaBuddy was their idea, so it's their concept. What we're going to talk about is the origins of the vision behind SeaBuddy, what it actually is, so the concept behind it. We're going to talk about what are the benefits of joining, how to join, and then what to expect through the pilot phase. There's going to be Q&A at the end. I think like many webinars, you can see the Q&A button. So just type your questions in there, and we'll come to them at the end. And there's not too many on the call, so we can probably even later on open it up for you to speak. The webinar is being recorded, so if you want to listen back later on, then feel free to do that. We'll let you have the links to allow you to do that. So now I'm going to hand over to Man to talk you through the SeaBuddy story. So over to you, Man.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. Thank you for the introduction. So for participants here, SeaBuddy originated as an entry to the Maritime DEI lab, which was held sometime around August, and various stage gates that we have crossed until the stage that we have arrived. And this was a joint idea submitted by the team members from RightShip, me and my wife, CPIC, there's Sesson and Dragos, and ImageLine followed by Sue from there. We all come from different backgrounds. We had our different motivations. So like Sesson from CPIC, he had the motivation of promoting ESG and the DEI index within his firm, while Sue comes from the presidentship of Vista, UK. So she was into encouraging women participation in the maritime industry. So her struggle and experiences from there, while me and my wife from RightShip had that idea of helping women from wives of seafarers come into the play and take in the roles. And this is where we all merged our idea from, as you can see, from various scopes, and came with the merged SeaBuddy system. And what the platform and the team envisaged is we want to allow connectivity between various entities or players or people, you may say, within the maritime domain. Someone who wants to learn, someone who wants to contribute, someone who wants to share his experience or struggle, and who thinks that he has to give back to the industry. So and yeah, just introduction to budding seafarers as to what the industries actually look like, and in that manner also to promote women participation and improve the DEI score of the maritime industry as in general, which we know is not in the right figures. Going ahead, I mean, as yes, there are those who have been at sea and those who have friends at sea know that it's tough. I mean myself, when my first visit to a ship, and I was like, what's this huge structure here? And that's a very scary moment. So even if you have graduated, and even when you're on board, it's like it's very common to feel isolated and just get drowned in that emotional state, for nobody to assist you, listen to you, and advise you when you need it. So therefore, it's a complex industry, and the way it is, and it's a unique, as we all know, that it gives a different perspective to life and profession. And towards that, it's not like other regular shore-based industries. There are few people who join in, and from those who join, it's like majority of them, after a few months, years, they start to leave it in search of for various reasons, personal as well as not finding their likings, not understanding the industry as such. So that's yes, it's a tough world out there, being a seafarer and on the ship and in the maritime industry as a whole. So with that, but we also, those who have been there, and those ideas that we promote, it definitely is a very it's a community. It's not an industry. Maritime is a community. We all, I mean, once you, I'm sure you can, if you find a seafarers in your plane, you're signing off, you instantly gel along, and you instantly get going. And therefore we saw maritime as a community and a career at sea as a great opportunity to see things from a different perspective. The numbers no doubt here are, we know that it's a big industry, and therefore it employs 1.3 million seafarers and more on the shore side of shore staff assisting the industry. So the idea, and therefore, what if we can escalate this and make it a more connected system? We know ships become isolated at sea. You have internet connectivity issues and various challenges therein. And it's a staggered world. It's an industry, but it's like, it's not very interconnected as far as the seafarers individuals are concerned. And that's where we are looking to that. How can we encourage such participation from the youth and from those who are already there, not leaving it, and promoting the idea of a career at sea to help each other. So with that is where we, as I said, we started with that idea, various reasons why we came together. And SeaBuddy has a vision to create a platform dedicated to seafarers and ex-seafarers who want support, who want to share the knowledge, or who feel like they have to give back to the industry, and also those who want to encourage women participation, and encourage anyone who comes from any gender, race, age, or ethnicity. That's the concept driving the force behind the SeaBuddy platform that we are discussing today. And therefore, with that, we look at SeaBuddy as a gateway where you can connect to each other. I mean, I'm sure we have different network systems. We have WhatsApps, we have Telegrams, we have LinkedIn, and so on. But these are staggered and localized systems. We're looking at more of a global professional network where you can expand beyond just LinkedIn kind of system or beyond just WhatsApp kind of system. So that's where we're looking, and you can share your knowledge, or even maybe you are an experienced seafarer, but you still want to learn new skills to moving to the shore side of things, and you do not know whom to reach out to. You could come in and you can switch between various opportunities that Richard will touch upon how the platform works, and get your advice and support. As I said, when I went on a ship first time, it was like, oh, what's this? It's such huge structure and an instant frightening experience. And I have assisted those and seen those who see it, and then they are like, fine, this is my first and last sail of my career. And that's where we are, the SeaBuddy platform comes as a gateway to support the build up and encouraging people to join the maritime industry. Yeah, over to you, Richard. Thank you.
Thank you, man. So SeaBuddy is the gateway, and what we're going to talk about now is kind of why it's good to join and what joining actually kind of means. But I think as Man said, and the original concept behind this was very much, I think, as a seafarer, you can be quite isolated, and something that we've learned, and I've certainly learned over the last couple of months, is at the beginning of an individual's career, it can be quite difficult. But you hear these stories about, sort of third officers who have just had somebody who's kind of put their arm around them and said, "Oh, this is what you should do," or "This happened to me." And I think that seems to be very, very important. But the flip side of that is I think, again, as Man said, this idea about the seafaring community. I mean, I've never had the pleasure or privilege of actually serving at sea, but there is a community there, and I've been really impressed by how many experienced seafarers or individuals who've actually transitioned to shore-based roles, to superintendents or DPAs or whatever, how they really do want to give back. And that's really the essence behind SeaBuddy. So joining it as an experienced seafarer or an ex-seafarer or a sort of mentor really gives you the opportunity to give something back and to kind of to participate in that community. So, you know, as you join this, think about your experiences. What was it like for you, when you were starting your career? What was it like for you when you were perhaps struggling with you're balancing that kind of working away from home with your responsibilities at home, or when you were thinking about how do you progress your career, or thinking about going ashore. So as an experienced individual, think about how you can help others who are in the situation that you were, so you can give something back, you can help other people. But again, very, very good in terms of your leadership skills and your interpersonal skills. And there's a nice statistic here that says nearly 90%, so 87% of mentors and mentees really get something out of that relationship, and it really helps to develop confidence, and it's fantastic for those communication skills, those kind of softer skills, which are more important today. And then being a kind of SeaBuddy, so this is, you would join SeaBuddy where you want that advice and help and support. But what's interesting is we've talked a bit about kind of cadets and young people as they start their career, those first few voyages at sea, which we have seen have been the most challenging. And again, I think something that Man mentioned, and this is something that came very clearly from the work that we did at the end of last year, is a lot of individuals go through their training, their graduate training, and then they get onto the first vessel, and that's very, very hard. So the support through those first few months, those first kind of year or 2 years of actually kind of working at sea, getting used to the rhythm of being at sea, being ashore, is difficult. So people need support then, but also actually throughout their career. So I was talking to somebody who actually said, masters and chief engineers also need mentoring. They could be going onto a different vessel, working with a different company. Again, individuals need mentoring throughout their career. Again, why you would join to develop your career, for that self-confidence, for just skills and knowledge. I think there is a lot of opportunity to share knowledge. All those little things that you pick up as you go through your career, share those. And again, I think in terms of as you as a person develop your career, understanding how to manage the organizations that you're working in, that can be very, very important. And again, some nice statistics there. So, talking about mentors helping individuals to avoid mistakes, getting into your roles faster, and again, helping you to make decisions. Because again, all through life, I even think about my career, all through your career, you're making decisions about where to go next, what job to do next. And when you start a new role, how can you make that role a success? So those are all things where just having somebody else that you can talk to can be super helpful. So we've talked about SeaBuddy as a concept, and we mentioned this at the beginning. This arose from actually a kind of competition at the end of last year. So we've developed and we've done some testing of a kind of prototype, and now we're in a pilot phase. So that basically means that we are inviting a small number of participants. We're not at this point in time inviting the whole seafaring community to join this, because it's a pilot. So we're running a test, and we're going to be running that test for the next 6 months or so. And what we're interested in doing, and that's why you've been invited to this webinar, is to get participants to join as users, either from the experience side, so effectively to offer your advice, your knowledge, your experience to others, or to request support as a SeaBuddy themselves. So we're running this pilot. It'll have a limited number of users, and we've created a website, and we've got a sort of technical partner who can do the matching process, and that's at SeaBuddy.org. So if you're on this call, then you've been invited for a reason. Please do sign up. But then, of course, what happens is when you sign up, you'll see you will put your details in, the normal stuff, name, email address, where you're from, but also you'll put in a little bit about yourself, your experience, but also if you're an experienced person, what areas do you think you can help with? Can you help with career advice? Can you help with communication skills? And if you're looking for advice, if you're a SeaBuddy, what is it you're looking for? And I think when you do this, put as much information as you can in there, because as I said, we were doing quite a lot of research before this point, and something that is very clear and very apparent during these mentoring programs is that expectations and a misunderstanding between the two parties can cause lots of problems. I think if you're on your first voyage and you want something very specific, really try to write that down as best you can, because then when you're looking for somebody that you can talk to about that person will have a better feeling as to whether or not they can help you. And then when you have your first conversation or you exchange messages, you're going to get off on the right foot from the beginning. So you put your stuff in there, and then the system, so SeaBuddy, will actually offer you up with matches. So there's a very small screen there, but that's what it looks like. So you will put your information in there, and you will be presented with some options, people that you can talk to. And if you like the look of them, then you can just send them a message, say, I like the look of you, should we have a chat? Or you can just try to set up a meeting directly with them. And in most cases, that's just going to be a call, a sort of WhatsApp type meeting. But again, it'll give you different options. And you can select as many of those options as you like. As on the mentoring side, as experience side, those individuals will have said, I can have 3 people, I can have 5 people. So you won't be overloading them. So as soon as they've had all their matches, they won't be there anymore. But again, you can find people that you like the look of, that you want to talk to, and then just start the conversation. And those conversations, I mean, it's an informal system, or it's as informal or as formal as you would like it to be. So if you have one particular question you want to ask somebody about, perhaps you've just gone on a vessel that's using dual fuel. Perhaps you're one of those people that's you're an engineer and you've got the methanol engine, maybe, and you want to find some information about that. Very specific, very short question. If you're looking at a longer career, if you're looking at something more specific and you want more formal mentoring, then you can do that as well. So all sorts of optionality in here. And again, those relationships can last as long as you like. So if it's a one-off, it's a one-off. If you really like it, then you can keep that relationship going for months and years. A point here before I flip forward, we are in the pilot phase. So what we're actually doing at the moment is we are building numbers. And actually, we are in the process of manually checking people as they come onto the platform. This is just part of the experimental process that we're in. So do bear with us. So if you don't see people that you think are interesting, or it just doesn't look right, then just bear with us. And also, it is a pilot, and to some extent you are part of that pilot. So we do want your feedback. So if you go in there and you think something isn't quite right, or as you work through it, if there are features that you think are missing or that you don't understand, then do contact us, and you can do that through the main website, or you've got our details from today. So do contact us, let us know, because we want to through this pilot, we are seeing how easy it is to use. We're looking at technicalities. We're seeing how many people join the pilot, and we're also seeing whether those individuals are getting value from the pilot. So the more feedback that you can give us, the better. And actually, we will, for those people that join the pilot, we will be contacting you to ask you for feedback as we go forward. Okay, so a few sort of do's and don'ts with regard to SeaBuddy. I mean, I think it is about helping with career choices. It's about sharing knowledge, guidance around new roles, and particularly that point of transitioning between a sea-based role to a shore-based role. And again, if you want support on those kind of softer skills, they're always good. I always think that's a funny term. But looking at developing your language or communication skills or leadership skills, that's what SeaBuddy is all about. So it's those kind of areas. What it isn't about is about getting a specific job. So this is, it's not a job site. I think there are plenty of places that are offering that. It's not really a place to share your feedback on your company, or it's not a place to to share your frustrations or your poor experiences. It's not really for that. It's not a place for financial gain. It's not a place to seek kind of charitable donations or financial support. It's also it's not a place for welfare issues. I mean, what we have put on the main website is we put a lot of those contacts for organizations like ISWAN and those kind of contacts. So if there are urgent kind of welfare issues, then that's the place to go, to not to SeaBuddy. I think with those cases you normally would need sort of professional support. So I think in terms of us talking, that's pretty much it. The pilot is now open, and if you go to seabuddy.org, you can read more about it for sure. And that actually is very easy to, if you want to become a mentor, if you want to find a SeaBuddy, then you can do that very, very easily. And there's a career section there, so you can learn about careers, and there's some other bits and pieces. But do keep an eye on that website, because we are adding more and more information to it as we go along. But the key thing right now is it's a place to go to access the portal, put your details in, register, and then find your SeaBuddy, find your connection. So now going on to Q&A. So Man's going to run this. So I can see we've got a question. Some questions. Let's have a look at questions. Feel free. Okay, so got a question here that came up beforehand. Is SeaBuddy free? Was a question that came up previously. So and SeaBuddy is free for anybody. So it's free to use. And our expectation is it will remain free to use for both mentors and mentees. So that's for sure. So any other questions? Because there is a question there.
Yeah.
So the question here, do you have an open forum to discuss about maritime issues like Reddit? So yes, thank you for that question. There is, on the portal, you can create a thread, so you can ask questions about anything really. And yes, so yes, the answer is yes, there is an open forum to discuss maritime issues. So that is there. And feel free to contribute to that. Thank you for that question.
I think, Richard, while the questions come in, we could take up or share maybe our survey or interviews, maybe a bit more items there. Probably a question which came up frequently is how much time commitment is needed to on this platform. So which briefly Richard touched up, but yeah, Richard, you want to go ahead, please?
Yeah, definitely. So I think I mean, this is a from the experienced seafarer side and from the mentor side, it is very much a voluntary thing. So our expectation is that if you are mentoring or looking after an individual, I think perhaps the most what you need to think about would be perhaps an hour a month would be about right. I think that will be probably the most you would need to do per person. So not more than that. So actually, the time commitment is not significant. But I think again, this was a bit of feedback that we had about these kind of schemes before. I think if you do make that commitment to support somebody, or if you accept support from somebody, then I think it's important that you do make the effort to attend those calls, have those meetings, because that's definitely a source of frustration when you have a kind of relationship and perhaps individuals get excited and then they dial into a call or you send a WhatsApp message and you don't hear anything back. I think there will be delays because it's people are working at sea, but do make that commitment. So I think the time commitment isn't massive, but when you do enter into those relationships, I think please do make sure that you do fulfill your expectations, your obligations to the other person. So Josh,
we can add
lots of questions.
Yeah, yeah, we can add to that to what Richard said, that mentors are in control to select how many mentees they can take at any given time. So it's not you'll be flooded. You will be in control that, okay, I can manage only one or I can manage only three. So that's in your control through the platform. Going to the next question, Richard, we have, do we have educational training videos to how to engage the audience on the platform?
So there are some. I'm just trying to think how to answer that. So within the platform, there are some video guides as to how to use the platform itself. But to be honest, it's very simple. It's pretty intuitive. But what there also are is there are some quite interesting videos about how to have a mentoring conversation. So obviously what we're trying to create is this big network. So you may have a young seafarer from India who would love to have a relationship with a more experienced person who's working in a big company in Singapore. So there are some video guides as to how to manage those new relationships from both sides. So from that young person, what's a good way to present themselves, and what's a good way to kind of articulate or describe what they want from the relationship. And then from the other side, there are some video guides as to kind of what should that person think about in terms of making sure that that connection creates the value that both parties want. So there are some video guides there. And actually, I found a fantastic video guide from the Nautical Institute, which I've actually put a link to on the website, and that talks about mentoring and how that should work. So there is some material about that, and just have a look at that. Okay.
I think going ahead to the next question, Richard, how would you ascertain if the quality of the mentor is good? I mean, you may be enthusiastic, but maybe you're not good. So probably, how do we ascertain that through the platform?
That's actually a really good question, and I think it's one that's kind of difficult to answer. I suspect most people that go into mentoring relationship as a mentor, if they're coming from the right place and they've got some reasonable enthusiasm, they will be good mentors. I think from what I have seen is the best relationships are the ones where the match and the expectations are really, really good. So I think so long as each person understands what the other person wants, then the relationship will be good. I think in the forum there is the opportunity to share sort of feedback to one another about the kind of the quality of the mentoring, and that is something that we will look at. And that's also why what we will be doing throughout the process, throughout the pilot, is at the moment, everybody who goes onto the platform is being validated. So you'll see a slight delay as we do the validation, but throughout the program, we will always be checking mentors just to make sure they have the right sort of experience to be on the platform and to offer that advice. But I think whether they're good at it, I think is going to be slightly more subjective, and let's see. I think it'll be a learning process. But what we will also be doing is we will be making sure that when we have enough mentors, we allow mentors to sort of talk to each other and share one another. And I think we will look at perhaps creating kind of almost mentor playbooks, so that, under this circumstances, these are the sorts of things that you need to consider. These are the kind of things that you need to think about. But also, and I think this is definitely something I've heard about mentoring is, I think for all kind of mentees or SeaBuddies, your mentor may know a lot of stuff, but they probably don't know everything. And I've heard that fairly frequently, that I think often a mentor can sit back and say, well, I need to be able to answer all these questions. I think it's natural that they can't. So I think, a good mentor is going to be one who also is very enthusiastic. I think that's important. But if they don't know the answer, or if they're not sure, then they need to be able to recognize that. But what we will try to do then is say, well, actually, if you've had a question that you don't know the answer to, or a situation that you don't know how to respond to, then this is some support. You can talk to other people who have had those experiences again, so that the mentors themselves can grow their capabilities and their knowledge, and get something out of it.
I can add on to that, Richard. Yes, the platform has a scoring system, and that scoring system is you can set goals when you start a mentor-mentee relationship, and at the end of once you close out that goal, the mentee can rate you and you can rate it's both ways. So both can rate each other on the goal, and that will you have a scoring system, and that is where the rating comes into play to answer. This to judge that what has been the satisfaction level from either side. Richard, going ahead, it's like the next question reads, does the platform have a limit to number of users in the pilot phase, and any short communication package to share with seafarers, they would like to share? Outside just we sharing, they will also promote this platform.
So yeah, thanks for that question. At the moment we have, we've in the pilot phase, we don't really have a limit. We're not doing lots and lots of communication, so we'll naturally communicate it. We'll see where it gets to. I think if we were to get to 2,000 users in the next 2 weeks, we might shut it down. But we don't have a limit that would be important at this point in time. So I think, as much communication as you feel you want to do, then that's going to be fine. I think we have got some comms materials, and that's Annette. If you have some specific seafarers you want to reach out to, then let us know, and we can pass this on to you. Also, obviously this recording will be available, as will the slides. So all that's available as well. So that's that.
Yeah, and to add to it, yes, while we don't have a number jotted down what could be the limit, but yeah, we definitely are looking to have mentors, good quality members, and much more than the mentees themselves because that's the core to any mentorship system. So yeah, that's our unwritten target. So therefore, we are encouraging mentors who can come on board. Going to the next one, Richard. It reads, will there be a question bank of queries which could be raised during this process through the platform and be available for access?
This is a good question, and I think obviously, as mentioned before, there is a the kind of the Reddit type posting piece which is there. I think, but this, when we did like I said, we did quite a lot of research into what makes a good scheme and what makes a bad scheme, and this came up about whether we should have a kind of question bank, and I think we probably will do, but not from the beginning. So what we will, as we go through the pilot, we'll be gathering all the information, and if there are lots and lots of really common questions that come up all the time, then we will definitely put them out there in sort of commonly, I know, frequently answered questions or something. But I think it's a really good question, and again, I think we will address that over time, and again, because it'll also help the mentors as well. So thank you for
that. Going to the next question: how to approach SeaBuddy to work with your company?
So I don't really. I mean, so I think I mean, that's from Marcel. I think if you want to, so again, the idea with SeaBuddy is it will be, I mean, in this pilot phase, it's open to anybody. I mean, I think if you want to spread the message through your organization, then just let myself or Man or Sue know, and we can help you to do that. If that's what you mean. So it is to some extent a kind of cross-industry platform, so it's not really company specific. But just let us know exactly what you mean, and we can sort something out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going to the next one. How will you handle sexual harassment if anyone, either the mentor or the mentee, reported on the platform?
Okay, so I think, I mean, the first, I mean, look, I think this is a very difficult area, and I'm very aware that there's a lot of this kind of instances that do happen at sea. I think to some extent SeaBuddy isn't the place to report sexual harassment, sexual assault, but my suggestion would be that if in the process of any kind of conversations this comes up, then I think there should be a conversation about contacting one of the more appropriate kind of service providers or supports agencies, like people like ISWAN, or their organizations like sort of Safer Waves. I mean, they are going to be the organizations that are best positioned to support an individual where this has happened. So I think that will be what I would say, because this is not the place for that. And I think the other point is, I mean, it's absolutely not the place for. So if there's any misuse of the platform for anything like this, then of course those individuals will be removed straight away. So hopefully that's answer that question. I mean, it's a very difficult area. So I'd say this isn't the place to report those issues. That should really be done through ISWAN or one of those agencies.
At the platform level, what the platform could do is, if there is a situation arising and we have a grievance redressal system. So if you do report that this profile is so and so, as Richard said, that profile will be blocked or paused till it is resolved. So yes, we do have, the platform has that redressal system.
Yeah.
Okay, going ahead. Next question is, I want to volunteer in developing SeaBuddy.
So, well, great. I mean, I think so Marcel. I mean, I think Yeah, I mean, we're at the moment we're looking, like I say, we're looking for people to join the pilot. Yeah, feel free to to join the pilot either as, and it's like I say, anybody can join the pilot to be a mentor or to get support. And yeah, if you want to help us some more, then fantastic. Just drop us a line, or drop myself or Man an email, and you can contact us through the website. And if you want to help us some more, fantastic. That'd be brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah. See, we can define development of SeaBuddy in different aspects. While the ideation was there and the pilot is being launched, I would suggest that you encourage participation and then provide us a feedback that what could be done, and then we could take it with our development team and implement your feedback that you are getting. So yes, and that will come from participation. Okay. Going ahead, Richard, the question reads, is there an app or only is it accessible via the PC? Please advise the website link.
So so the main SeaBuddy portal is a web link, and it's sea/buddy.org. That's in the slides. The actual, so what you'll see is there's the SeaBuddy website, and then the kind of the engine that drives the matching is from a third-party provider called Pushfar. Pushfar does have an app. So what we can do is we'll put the information about how you can download the app, either Android or Apple. We can put that on the website, and then once you've downloaded the app, then you'll be able to access the SeaBuddy part of it through that. So we will put that on there. So again, both basically.
Going ahead, I've just shared the link. If
Thank you.
Yeah, it's in the chat window. Going to our next question, coming back to the harassment situation, that if there's such a situation arises and that the mentee is experiencing, the mentor should be able to guide the mentee to contact an appropriate institution that can help her or him. Is what is the expectation from a mentor, Richard?
I mean, yes, I think. I mean, I think so. I mean, I think if that, like I say, I think, yeah, in the case of that kind of situation, then the mentor should be able to give the person advice. But what I'd say to the mentee is, this is not necessarily the right platform to raise those issues. I mean, I think if those issues come up as part of a regular process, then that's okay. But definitely the mentor will be able to help find an appropriate institution. But also we've put on the website, we've put those links there as well. So there's specific help links. So they are there on the website. And actually one thing we will also do is we are going to put a specific section on the website which is to do with kind of gender specific issues and stories. So we will have that on the website. Okay, so there's no more question. I just wonder, is Sue? I just wonder, Sue. I'm gonna see what I can put you onto so you can speak. I can see you're there. Sue, I just put you onto Sue if you can hear me. I've just put you onto speak mode if you go off mute. I just wonder if you can add any more to the questions about sexual harassment, because I know you're a Worcester person. This might not work. I don't think that's working. Okay. Oh, Sue.
Hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, good. Yeah. So on the sexual harassment side of things, as you said, Safer Waves or Icewind are the best two people to go to if you can't go to your own DPA, if you're at sea or somebody internally. There's lots of information that we will be adding to the website. There is the booklet, the poster. and speak out is what we would say. Is it's important to speak out. So if you can't or you don't want to speak to any of them, feel free to contact me. My details are on the website, or anybody within the WISTA organisation.
Yeah. Thank you, Sue.
Yeah. So Richard, we have another one is support around the mental health issues that that would be needed for anybody on the platform.
So again, I think this is similar, I think, to the observations around kind of sexual assault, sexual harassment. I think I would say that this isn't the first port of call for mental health support, but of course, if you're struggling and that comes up in a conversation with your mentor, that can be covered. But again, on the website, there are plenty of links to organisations, again, like ISWAN, and like so there are more sort of local organisations who have fairly extensive provision for mental health support, because that's clearly an important issue. So that's on the website. But again, I think SeaBuddy is not the primary place for that. But again, in any of these situations, if you're having a challenge, then your mentor will be able to help you, and they should be able to point you in the right direction. So I think we're just probably drying up the questions there a little bit. So I think what we will do is we'll post the video, the link so you can watch the video again. We'll make the slides available, and our contact details. You can contact us through the SeaBuddy website as well. And I think what I would say is thank you ever so much for joining the call today. Thank you for my co-presenters, Man and Sue. So thank you guys, and of course they've put most of the work into all of this. So thank you. And yeah, please do have a look at the website. Please do sign up. And yeah, we'll see how the pilot goes. Hopefully, it'll be a success. And yeah, this will go on for a long time. So thank you very much, everybody. And yeah, we will hopefully hear from you soon. All right. Cheers,
Thank you,
bye-bye.
Richard. Bye.